Welcome to episode 8 of Crude&Unhinged.
Hi guys. As you already know, we've had this we have a best friend who's been going through this beautiful journey, and we were so lucky and blessed enough to be a part of it. And we decided, why not bring it out to you guys as well and share that beautiful story with you guys, so you know what two papas, one baby entails. What do you think, Gus? Do you want any babies in the future?
Maybe. So that's why I'm here most.
Well,
I want to get the whole tea about the whole situation.
right. I know that at some point, I love you guys so much that at some point I said I would be willing to be like a surrogate.
All of a sudden.
First of all, because my genes, you would have a beautiful baby. Like, come on.
With a broken knee?
Obviously, you would take care of your kid. That's out of my hands. Okay. I'll give you the baby. You take care of it.
You do the rest.
No.
And then I would like to be like, I want to be a godmother or something. Una madrina.
No, you can't.
Why?
No, I feel like that's like too like personal now. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like you have to.
Okay, that's a good.
You have to keep it separate. You know?
That is actually a really good point, because the reason why I asked this situation is because I've seen the way that the papas have been with Nicole, and I am like in awe of this situation, and they have made it very personal. And so it's at another level right now. Yeah. And everybody keeps asking, everybody that knows Nicole, she's going through this journey, asks that question, like, when does it get too personal, I guess.
Personal.
And in Gus's situation, he said, did you see?
Yes, Gus said, I know you're my friend, but I would push you all the way far away.
Yeah. Like, thank you for the blessing of like giving me a kid and all, but that's it.
But I would not like to see you again.
Know what? That would cancel out my...
This is when you have to rematch.
Now you're not doing it because you want to, but because you want to benefit out of it.
No, I don't want to benefit out of it. I love kids.
Do you?
I just don't like mine. I just wouldn't want mine. I don't want to be responsible for them. Anyways, okay. We're waiting for
So welcome to the set.
This is her first alcoholic beverage since. Well, obviously she wasn't drinking when she was pregnant. Yay.
We need claps.
Bravo. So this is Nikki and this is baby Tom.
Hello.
Making his debut on the podcast. We saw him here first.
Making our debut together.
He's like, hello. My name is Tom.
He's like, I'm going to make sure I'm the star of this show too. Okay.
Pause.
Sí, para que se oiga. He's like, I want to...
He's like, I'm going to charge for that later on. Okay. So, baby Tom, how do you feel about that? That's what he feels. He's all, did you hear him? Did you hear him fart?
He's comfortable now.
Okay, so
I don't know if I want a baby.
Never mind. I don't think so.
Imagine it goes off to his back. I know.
That does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
That's a question for the poppers.
I'm not ready for that.
So, anyways, How do you feel, friend? Are you feeling okay? Are you?
Yeah, I feel good. I'm still recovering from having this beautiful baby.
Mm-hmm.
So still a little emotional, hormonal, but overall doing good.
Good. You do look good. And everybody who's like seeing you out and stuff like that, they're like, oh my gosh, she looks so good. And blah,
yeah,
blah,
yesterday that we were at Peter's, as soon as I walked in, I was like, what the f- is like Nicole? Like,
dude, like nothing happened.
Like nothing
huh?
happened. Like she didn't pop a baby out of her like insides.
I can't think of the word.
I can't think of the word.
The appropriate word.
So how tell us a little bit about the whole journey and stuff. How did it come about? What triggered you to like say this is something I would like to do?
Honestly, it's been something that I've been considering for a few years now. it started off kind of jokingly. I would just be like, well, I got 2 kids. I know I can have a baby, so why not help somebody, you know? And I would just joke around about it. But then, like 2 years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to look into it. Like, nothing too serious, but just to see what's out there.
Right.
And I started looking it up online a little bit, and then with that, I started getting like ads on Facebook and everything because
The algorithm was algorithming.
yeah, because
Not
of
them
the
stalking
search
us.
history. So then I started seeing different agencies coming up on my feed and everything. So I started like clicking on them, looking into it a little bit. And then eventually I decided to contact one of them just to ask some questions and see more like about the process. And in that's where I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. It's time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so the whole process from the moment you started algorithming, how long has the process been?
It's been about 2 years.
Dang, 2 years.
How long does it take for you to get hired?
Well, there's different steps you have to do. So like you apply with your agency, and then you have to get medical clearance. You have to do a psych evaluation just to make sure, like, you know, you're stable,
You're
you can
all right.
handle it.
Like, we don't want a crazy baby,
Yeah.
please.
Sorry, Lorraine. Yeah, I think your knee's
I
gonna
think
be
you're
a problem.
disqualified. I think you're-
Well, that says that.
So that concludes.
Yeah. Anyway, that was
your journey right
a dream short-lived.
Lorraine's like, okay, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Okay, so and let me ask you, how did you find that agency, or did it just kind
Or
of?
did the agency find you?
Yes, the agency found me.
You're not wrong.
On Facebook.
They're like, she wants.
Yeah, they were one of the like ads that popped up on Facebook, and I clicked on it and I saw their website, and I was like, okay, they look pretty cool. So then they're the ones that I reached out to, and then they called me and asked me a whole bunch of questions, and then I got to ask my questions to them, and we just moved forward from there.
Okay, and so would you? I'm assuming that yes, but when you decided to go with them, did you feel like they took your feelings and concerns into consideration also? But I am assuming that yes, because you decided to go with them, but at no point did you feel like, it's just for business?
No, honestly, I do feel like I was blessed to have chosen a good one, because I have felt like they've taken me into consideration, not just as like a number, like, oh, we're trying to get you to get this money to, you know what I mean? But like, they've taken my feelings into consideration, and like me as a person.
Right. Okay, good. I love that. I just feel like, I'm a very big believer in like God and the universe as one. So I do feel like really did bring you.
Bro, what are you
Honestly,
talking
I
about?
To the
feel
man?
right.
like that too. Like, because I didn't research a whole bunch of different agencies like I've seen some other people have done.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that was me just like being naive, not really knowing too much about the process.
Right,
you know?
which then you weren't led by like facts
Right.
or information. You were led with your heart.
My
That's what I feel.
intuition.
That's why I love the situation so much.
Pinche cursi. Qué cursi.
Cursi.
And it turned out amazing. honestly.
I always, every single day, I will tell Nicole, you couldn't have chosen a better couple to do this with. Like, you couldn't have.
I'm very lucky.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Very blessed.
Yes.
Honestly.
So, what about, have you gotten any questions? Do you have any questions? Or curiosity about the whole situation?
Yeah, like what's the process? Like, do you use your own eggs, or do they already provided the eggs, and you just like what's it called? Like the
I was just the
I don't know.
incubator.
incubator. Yes, the
Oh, okay,
incubator.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The vessel
they,
Yes.
to
Uh-huh.
they had their embryos already prepared with an egg donor that they had chosen, and then they just transferred that embryo to me.
Into you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No.
How?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Can we have a visual?
If you feel comfortable,
Yeah.
you feel comfortable.
Actually, I did
Give us a
want.
visual description.
No, but I do remember you had mentioned you had a couple of trips out of town, And can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I know it was Vegas, and I was like, I want to be there. And then I was like, I don't know if I want to be there for this.
Yeah, that's true. She kept saying, "You want to go to Vegas, friend?" Blah, blah,
I'm
blah.
like, for what?
Uh-huh.
For
And then
what?
To get knocked
How
up.
did she break it to us? How
To
did
get
she
knocked
break
up,
it to
that's
us?
what
How
you
did
were
she
going to
tell us,
Vegas
"I'm
for."
gonna do it"?
I think when you
As a matter
finally,
of fact, I think it was a part of your vision board. Remember, we did a whole
To get pregnant?
but I think also when
Really?
when there was a match
vision
already,
board?
no,
Sí, pero
because
no.
we knew you were like in the process, but until finally there was a match, I believe, is when it all kind of happened slowly. I feel
Yeah.
like
Does the
it
match
wasn't
happen
fast.
like-
It happened slowly but so fast. Also,
Yeah.
Does the match happen like Tinder? Like you're like, da, 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 da. Well, I don't know.
Pretty
Of course
much.
you wouldn't say that.
I didn't get to swipe
Maybe.
on them, but
They swipe on you?
I was happy.
Did they swipe on you?
That's a good question.
Oh, yeah, who swiped on who?
Them.
Or did they choose you?
I think
Both.
they choose each other.
Oh, okay,
More
okay.
like Hinge.
Yeah.
Do you see pictures of them? Like how is the first like time that you meet them? Like by picture, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And then you have like a history, like a bio type of thing.
exactly.
So like Tinder,
Like
type
a
of thing.
profile. They do
Yeah.
set up a profile.
Like Facebook. Okay.
I have a profile that I set up on my end, and then the intended parents is what they're referred to. They set up a profile on their end as well.
Did you lie on your profile? Is there anything that you put there? Like no, like for example,
I didn't.
Nicole's like, I'm 6 feet tall.
no, like
We're gonna get her height for sure.
okay. So for example, no, because they didn't use her embryo. So
Because that happened to Lorraine.
Hey, look, the
But,
ignorance.
no, no.
'Cause I would say
But
something
the
like that,
reason-
and you're like, no, the baby is like a lot of
It doesn't have to
people
do-
have this
Not my
question.
genetics.
Yeah, it's not your genetics. Like there's,
But for
baby-
example, like on Tinder and all these places for you to hook up, like you look like there's catfishes or things like that,
yeah.
or you put like some things to like make yourself pop out.
So
on
I
the
guess,
profile.
is this profile verified by the company before you? How legit is it?
Or was it something that you put for you to stand out from the rest?
Honestly, I don't even remember what facts I put on my profile.
All right, let's get the profile.
I think this is gonna be a question for the papas on our next episode, guys.
I will say, like, it's I feel.
I don't remember what I put on there.
Yet again, it's a great experience because I don't feel like you would like. I feel like you gave everything. You were very
Literally.
honest and stuff, and so you weren't trying to put on like a facade or a show or
Right.
you know what I mean. Like you weren't trying to be like, are they gonna choose me or anything? It just kind of happened, and then like boom, together.
Yes.
But yeah, but can you imagine how many people like try to be a surrogate? You know what I mean? For like whatever reason, you know, like emotional reasons, or like to give like the gift of life or what have you, or the money. You know, so you have to make yourself stand out because not everyone qualifies for it.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
now that you mentioned money, it obviously it
How
is
much was
like a paid. It is paid. Like you're
I'd rather
getting
not
paid,
disclose.
right? Fair enough. Fair enough. Honestly, I feel like I don't know. I'm in awe with the whole situation.
Yeah.
We knew it was gonna happen. We just didn't know how it was gonna happen or what, and it kind of just like happened.
So
Yeah,
with the profile, I didn't even consider like, oh, I need to make myself stand out. It was more just what facts can I put about myself that show like who I am, and then I figured whoever likes this, that'll be
Right.
Yeah.
good for me. Like you
We
know
should
what I
apply that to our dating life. Just saying.
mean? Honestly,
I mean, really. It
Me
kind of just
included.
like, you're not caring of who, you never knew that they existed and stuff like that. So it kind of
because
just.
it was just like an open possibility. Like whoever is attracted to my profile and says like, oh yeah, she seems pretty cool with what's on there, like we're gonna get along together.
Right.
It wasn't like, oh, what do I have to put to impress anybody?
Right.
And
right.
you know, I kind of feel like there was no resistance. There, it was just like you put yourself out there, and I don't think at any point you were like, "Oh, this needs to happen." I think
Right.
you just kind of went along with the process and said, "Okay, I'll give it a shot, see what happens," and then
And
then
bang,
it, yeah,
pregnant.
then it happened faster than anybody knew. Then before you knew it, here's baby Tom.
Exactly. It was more there was no expectations of it. It was kind of like, let's just see how this goes. Like, you know, I didn't have any particular like outcome in mind or anything. It was just kind of learning as I was going the whole time and just trying to be as authentic as possible, I guess. Like,
Right.
And did you know what you were getting yourself into?
For the most part.
Did it
I feel
happen?
like maybe because she's been pregnant before.
Well, do you think this pregnancy was different from your last two? Because the last two, I mean, you know who the father was and things like, you know what I mean? Like in your mind, like did it click to you that it wasn't your baby?
Yes. I do feel like I had to mentally and emotionally prepare myself from the beginning. Like, yes, you're having a baby, but this is not your baby. And it does help that, you know, they tell you if you're interested in becoming a surrogate or a gestational carrier, you should be done having your own kids. And I feel like...
Oh, I thought,
Tom said, I don't want that.
Let's try it. Yeah.
There we go.
¿Cómo es que no?
You're like, what were we?
Oh, yeah. So they tell you for you to be done with having kids by your
Oh,
own.
yeah.
So you're not.
Oh,
And
really? I
so-
didn't know that.
Yeah, they tell you like, because just in case anything should happen, like if
Oh,
you have
I
an
see.
ectopic pregnancy
Right.
or anything, like you should be done with your own little family. And I do feel like I'm good with my
Are
two
you done?
girls.
Are you done
I
having
don't
kids?
need another baby, so you know. So it was. You definitely still bond having this little baby like growing inside of you for so long, but I feel like for me it was more of a like tia connection the whole time.
Okay.
Right.
Like,
Or like prepping you for your life
Uh-huh.
ahead.
Right.
Almost. Yeah.
not like a maternal connection where I'm like, oh, this is gonna be my baby.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't have to worry about like, oh, I need to buy the crib and prepare
Right.
and now I'm gonna have to be up all night. I was like, nope, this little one gets to go with his daddy.
How you feel as an aunt. You have him for a
Exactly,
while
like-
and you're like,
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
go.
you get tired of them.
I hold him and I'm like,
tired
he's
of-
so cute. And then
here
I'm
you
like,
go.
okay, here you go.
Because, you know, that is another question that, like, the viewers, our two viewers,
Hey, Lorraine. I have like a little. I want to chime in real quick
okay, yeah.
because I was a teacher for about 8 years, coach, and kids would always be like, "Coach, do you have kids? Do you have kids?" I'm like, "No, I don't have kids." And then I just got tired of the question, so I'd be like, "You know what? I do have 300 kids," and they'd look at me like, "What the hell?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, all 300 of the students here at the school are my kids." But at 3 p.m., bye, you're with your parents, like, peace.
Exactly.
That was my thing, like, you know what I mean?
That's cute, dude. That's cute because I feel like even if we don't have children, I am going to make this about me.
As you always do.
We have that, like, that doesn't mean that I don't have a nurturing side
Right.
of me. So that's just all I want to say.
So if anyone wants to
I
pick me
feel like
up,
you are like that, you know? Okay, now let me ask you. You said you were answering your question. There is a question that I have from a viewer, and he's asking if there's any. How do you feel like? Pretty much, I think you've answered it. But how do you feel like knowing that this is not Tom is not your baby, and that you have to like give him to his respective parents? Like, is there no connection? Do you feel emotional? Like, even though you have trained your mind and like said this is not my baby, do you feel any type of like,
Any type of way.
emotionally?
No. Even like on the day that he was born, it was nice to see like him get to go with his daddies and seeing their little family come together. Like it was more so that type of bond. It was never like, oh, I want this baby. Like I need this baby here with me. It was just about like making their family complete.
Right.
Like,
That's beautiful.
Wait, quiero llorar.
Let me tell you something. I've known Nicole almost all my life at this point,
pretty much.
and I can tell you she's being 100% honest. I would be like, you lawyer.
Ay, ay.
And
Tell us the
Nicole,
truth.
I have a question. Did they provide you any resources for all this as far as prepping mentally and emotionally?
They do have resources available. Like if you feel like you need to talk to a therapist or anything to be able to gather your thoughts and like talk through it. Thankfully, I didn't feel like I really needed to go that route, but they do have it available in case you do feel and
Even like postpartum, like how?
Yes.
I
Yeah, I
guess
was gonna ask,
how
like, throughout the whole
after
process?
The process, are they still with you?
I believe it's about 6 months to a year in different aspects of
Oh,
the,
okay.
Okay,
of it,
so it's
yeah.
not like pop the baby and be like, all right,
Like,
peace
okay,
out.
you're done, bye.
Honestly,
no.
like, I feel through the whole process, again, we've been through it with you and stuff. The agency has been really good about like providing you with anything you may need, from the flights to taking care of your family also.
Right.
Or like, it gets to a point where she can't clean her own house. So
Like you're able
they
to
provide that.
right.
So they have been very resourceful, I think, to some
Yeah.
extent, which has
They
again
have been very helpful, yeah.
And you know what? I think a lot has to do also with the papas and the match,
that's what I was
honestly,
gonna say.
because I know I had a conversation with Nicole and I was wondering, right, about can you eat whatever you want? Do you have to report back to them? Like, and she did mention, right, something about how just depending, there are times when depending on your match, you may have to go to those extremes. But, her match with the papas was, where they trusted her during the process. And I feel like, that's so great. In fact, when you guys were at the hospital and they were like in the room across, or when I walked in and I saw them, I was like, oh my God, like I didn't expect to see them there,
because
and
we
it
only
was
see
amazing.
this stuff in the movies.
Yeah, like honestly, that's what it felt like.
Yeah, I was thinking they're just gonna.
Yeah,
she's gonna be.
they're in
alone.
France already. They've forgotten all about us.
They took the baby and ran.
Yes, honestly, that's what it felt like. I thought that's what it was
really
gonna be.
did.
No.
Not a
Totally been the opposite. No, I got very lucky. We matched on different points, of course, and our match has been amazing. Like, we definitely have the same open-mindedness, I feel, the same viewpoint.
I was gonna ask, were you able to see like their values, core values before? And I'm assuming they were able to see yours as well,
Right.
and where you stand in specific subjects in life. Because as much as we don't want that to be like the main thing, we do have to agree in a lot of stuff like that, especially like,
in this journey. And that is something that we were able to see about each other from the profiles. And then from there, once we agreed from the profiles that we felt like we could be a match, we did a FaceTime call. And that's where we initially met, like our first time. We got to ask questions that we had.
It's like dating, like dating, like online. You know what I mean?
level.
Yeah. Like, at what point do you guys meet in person?
Yeah.
Well, I met them. They flew down at the 20-week anatomy scan. So they were able to be here to see the ultrasound.
So you're already
where-
pregnant at that point
Yes,
when
I
you
was
met
already
them.
pregnant.
Okay.
I was already 20 weeks in, and then they got to come for that ultrasound and see everything where they measure like baby's head and show you everything that's going on in there. So it was a nice bonding experience for us to be able to have that time together and kind of get to know each other in person. So then when they came back for the delivery, it was more like, oh, my friends are back, and not like,
Oh, okay.
I'm meeting
My
new
friends are
people.
back.
Right,
Like,
right.
yeah.
My friends who got pregnant are back.
Was it an easy experience overall? Like, were you able to get pregnant right away? Like, what happened?
So we did have 2 different transfers. The first transfer, it didn't stick that time. So then we had to kind of see what the papas wanted to do at that point as far as moving forward, and then myself too, like with my body and everything. And then we agreed to do a second transfer a few months later. And then at that transfer, baby Tom here stuck.
He was a survivor.
He's the strongest little baby ever.
He's like, nah, I'm making this happen.
Yeah. He's like, we got this. And then they do blood testing like a couple weeks after and see. And then I got the email and it said, "Congratulations, you're pregnant." And I was at work and I was like, "I'm pregnant." And
Did you cry or did you just get excited?
Honestly, we've been through the whole journey with her.
Excited. Yeah.
She was because I remember that I would take her to some of her like blood work appointments, and I'm gonna cry.
It's not about you.
It's not an episode if Lorraine doesn't cry.
Where she cried. She was in a lot of pain.
I remember
she was in a lot of pain, and she was like, "Do I keep trying?"
Now I'm gonna cry.
I know.
It was like really like. So we were all very happy when it did happen. It was like a collective. Yes.
It was those progesterone shots that you gotta take.
To
in
the
glutes.
hormones
Those are
and
what got
stuff.
me.
Yes.
So
Those hurt like.
yeah. So with that being said, like how often do you get those shots? Like, was it like a daily thing or?
It was a daily thing
Oh my
for
God.
about like 3 months ish.
How big is the needle?
It's pretty big.
You think she has a big booty now? Her booty was like
Wait, because like,
que está.
we're like, ¿cómo se llama? Whenever you're like diabetic, there's like a small needle, like it's super small. You know what I mean? Like just for it to hit like the bloodstream.
Was it a big
But
needle?
was
This
it like
needle was
what's it called?
huge.
Like intramuscular?
Yes.
Like where it goes inside the muscle. Verdad, ahora sí todos. Okay, it makes a difference.
Para que veas,
Lorraine was.
for people who saying, "Oh, I still got like 4 more years or 8 more years."
Of what?
Oh yes, but it's a good question, Lorraine, porque you know how Lorraine wants to do it now. You know.
No, fuck. I was just kidding.
She's like, that's where I draw the line with that with that shot.
Injections? No.
No, pues,
Was there gonna be
even
a
do
third
it
transfer
myself.
if that one didn't work, or how many?
right.
Is there a
The
particular like how many times were you gonna
Willing to go through this.
willing, or was there like a cap because of the contract,
I
or
think
how does
we
that work?
had it scheduled for potentially 3 if needed, and then after that we would reevaluate if it hadn't stuck by then.
And if it didn't stick by, question. If it didn't stick by then, like, did they have the option to go with another surrogate? Was that on the table?
Yes.
And it was that they chose to continue on with you. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Now you can cry, Lorraine.
No, I know. The whole process. Or like, we're doing this for Tom. So when you see this in like 30 years,
30 years?
these
No.
are the people you dealt with when you were a baby.
The papas are like, no way,
No, but
no way.
This is going in the file.
But like with that being said, of like you finding out that you're pregnant, a lot of people outside of like the friend group didn't know you were going through this process. So how was it like you? Because all of a sudden, you posted this picture on Facebook, but you were like your belly was like out. You were like already like 7-8 months. You were already showing, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, I didn't know you were pregnant." Blah,
everybody's
blah,
like,
blah.
"Congratulations."
You haven't posted anything. So how was that like? I guess. Did you want to keep it a secret, or did you want to keep it just as intimate as you could, or?
Yes,
the
not so
process for
much
that?
a secret, but I wanted to keep it as intimate as I could for as long as possible during the pregnancy, because I am a believer in like energies and people's energy sometimes like throwing you off and affecting you, and I didn't want not random people, but I guess for lack of a better word, like
Right.
random people's energy to affect anything on my journey. Like I just wanted us to be in our little bubble, like whoever I want to know can know at this point, and then when I felt that I was ready, then I would let everybody else know if I wanted to.
If you wanted to, yeah.
Which was great because actually when she first posted that picture, it was like right before you gave birth, I think, right? You were maybe like,
Yeah, I was
and
already
I know
Yeah,
a lot of
she
people
like-
reached out. Well, a few people that we know started reaching out. Nicole's pregnant. Nicole's pregnant.
Who's a baby daddy? Who's a baby?
I think that was
It's actually
But
two
nobody
guys.
really
It's actually two
knew.
guys, and I don't know who the dad is.
I know. I made up a few stories and then I was like, just kidding.
Yeah, a lot of people were curious since there's no guy in my life right now, and all of a sudden I just pop up and I'm like 8 months pregnant.
Did people reach out to you directly and ask you too?
The guys were probably like, "No wonder she ghosted me."
She was like, I just
That
went to
all makes
Vegas
sense
and
now.
I came back
I came
pregnant.
back pregnant from Vegas,
Literally.
and here we are.
Okay, did any guys you might have been dating at some point reach out and ask?
I might.
You should have been like, and you're the daddy.
See you in court.
Yeah.
Give me
Wait
that
for the child support order.
Like, if you give me $1,000 right now, I won't take you to child support.
$1,000 right now.
Since you asked, since you want to know so bad. Así porque quería ser el... Nicole's like, quería ser el padrino. Okay.
Why are you asking?
No,
Dude,
yeah, I
that's
did have
crazy.
a couple people ask.
That if you
No, like about me being pregnant.
Oh.
About me being
She's like,
pregnant.
I had about 5 guys asking they were the dad.
And,
Not
and
even
like
5 guys that could ask. That's how
And then you have the ones she never listened to, and they were like, I'll marry you, and
I
we'll
don't
make
care
it
if
as
you're
a
pregnant.
family.
I'll take care of that baby.
I'll take him in as my.
imagine like I know I was gonna say something. Never mind. I just
So, any last words, Nicole, that you want to say? Any last questions that you may have for her? The papas, do you guys have any questions for her that maybe you haven't already asked? Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
You guys are. We'll come back to you guys right now.
Okay, wait. So yeah, last thing. I mean, to conclude, do you how do you feel about now that they're gonna go back home? Is there gonna be a possible connection after?
I do feel like we will be keeping in touch after.
and they're like, peace out. Blocked.
We'll come back to this question later. Imagine the papas are like,
No, sorry.
Yeah, blocked.
Yeah. I mean, I don't expect it to be like an everyday thing. Obviously,
Right.
you know, life has to go back to normal for them and everything. But I do feel like we'll keep in contact. You know, I'm planning a trip over there to France.
Maybe she'll be back pregnant.
Oh no,
By a French man.
With the baguette.
A little baby.
oh, that's true.
A croissant.
Okay, and would you do it again?
Yes, would you do it again?
If it were for the papas for a sibling journey, yes.
I
But for anybody else, no.
sorry, guys, and
I
Lorraine.
guess I'm out of the question. I'm out of the question.
And to close it out.
Lorraine, Gus is like, okay, so me then.
So me, huh?
Que algo que quería ser papá.
Ah, okay. Bueno, pues yo nomás preguntaba.
I met you longer than I have.
Okay, but so
Lorraine,
to close
that's for you.
close this out, can you give us a little rundown of the journey and what it's been like for you, just to kind of leave this
To like summarize?
Yes.
It has been an awesome journey. I will say an emotional one. Obviously, you know, with the first transfer not going through and everything, you have your emotional moments. Like, what happened? Was it me? Like, what could I have done differently? The injections, pain in the ass right there. But at the end of the day, it was all worth it. Like, the ups and the downs and everything. And I couldn't have asked for a better journey or a better match. And this beautiful little baby right here gets to have a wonderful life with his papas. And I got to help with that. And I feel like that's awesome. And
This goes on the vision board.
Would you
Yes.
recommend this to anyone else?
I definitely would. If you feel like you
Or
can
any
handle
advice you would like to give them also in case they were wanting to go through this process?
I say definitely. If you're interested, look into it. Ask as many questions as possible. Be as transparent as possible with what you want to get out of your journey, because that does look differently for everybody. But as long as you're honest about what you're looking for and what you want out of it, I feel like you can have a very rewarding experience.
Great.
I think-
Nice.
Yeah, that was a good.
Well, props to you, friend, because
Thank
it.
you.
Yes,
I-
because I know not
I know
everyone
I
would do
wouldn't.
it. And thank you for joining us too,
Yes,
because
thank
I
you so
know
much for
that
coming on.
yes,
Yes, she's very hesitant at times, but we got it.
not Nicole sweating, breaking a sweat right now.
Anyways, guys, stay tuned, because on our next episode, we're gonna have.
The papas.
So remember, my name is Lorraine.com. You guys can follow me on Instagram and, shoot me your messages in reference to any questions, concerns you may have. And then we have
Gus. You can find me on Instagram as Gus
Ah, okay.
It's a microphone.
It's a
guys.
go.
It's not a dick.
Me puse nervioso, no sé por qué.
All of a sudden, you know, our last episode, he was like, I'm not going to give you my socials.
I know now. I want you to follow me.
Follow me on.
But now I can't even say my socials.
Okay, give it.
It's Gus.Vasquez _
Nice. Do you want to be followed, friend? Or?
No, don't follow me.
Okay.
Yeah, and same here. PIC.
I said that the first time.
Don't search for me.
Episode 3. I'm like,
Bye.